And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NTRLD Media. Spell that right, NTRLD_Media. Find it on all channels and socials. I'm your host, Nick DeSantis, but you can call me Nicky Nicknames, and I'm joined by my co-host, holding it down on the ones and twos. This is Todd Roshong, but you can call him T-Row Price because this man understands the return on investment. And together, we are the NTRLD Pod, the idea to an idea, a podcast where two corporate Americans try out different creative endeavors to hopefully find a more purpose-driven career path outside of our daily 9-to-5s. And I would be remiss, folks, if I don't mention that each one of these episodes is mixed, mastered, edited, and produced by none other than One Time Productions. So welcome in. This is episode 1. Todd, how we doing? Live from Connecticut. What's good?
Oh, we are doing fantastic. So excited that we're finally getting this thing off the ground. We're gonna kick today's episode off with a little bit of our origin story, you know, how we came up with this concept, what NTRLD is, how we came up with the name. We're gonna take it over to the Bob the Builder section, get a little bit of how we got this thing going, how we got this off the ground. You know, sometimes we had to break out the chisel, sometimes the shovel, doesn't matter. We're gonna get things moving. And then, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the WD-40 section, where today, what's grinding our gears is the challenges of starting a podcast. So we're going to grind those gears, we're going to lube up those gears, and we're going to get things moving and grooving. We're going to talk a little bit about, you know, I think we're going to call this for now our potential segment, where we figure out what we're going to talk about on this podcast. And lastly, I think we're going to close things out with, you know, what our biggest inspirations, maybe really just Nick's inspirations, what we got going for us. So I think that's where we are. I'm excited to get this thing going.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's exactly what I want to hear. And so, folks, I guess why are we here today, man? This is the NTRLD Pod, and I was sitting here. I think actually, no, let's run it back like 3-4 years ago. Week 1 of my new job, I called Todd, and I was like, you know what? Dude, I need something else. It was a little naive, but it was like week 1.
It was very early out the gate. For a little more background for the people who don't know who Nick and I are, we went to Syracuse University together. We studied together in the business school up there. We had a lot of fun during our 4 years. You know, we went through a little bit of the COVID ups and downs, but no matter what, we were always having a blast. And then we got out into the real world, and things were quite a bit different.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think that was a good background because over when we were at school, you know, obviously you have a lot more time to do what you want. And I don't know if we would call it a little business, maybe a little side project, otherwise known as One Time Productions. Hey. But we make some fun videos, man. We chop it up. We had a good time. But it was fun, and it was a creative element that not even just us two, but a lot of people we enjoyed putting together. And that kind of went away when you got in the professional world, and it was kind of something that I was like, well, how can we get back to that? But One Time was never going to take off, mostly because of the aspect of you might find the video funny because you know me, but there was no central theme. And so it was a big thing of trying to find that idea that people could come back to and connect with and then move on from there. And so that's what has led us here today.
Yeah, I think so. Like you said, once we got out into the working world, we just simply didn't have the time for it, or at least, you know, that's what we were telling ourselves while we were getting acclimated to working 9-to-5s. And we've always been creative people. We've always needed something to get that creativity expressed in some way, shape, or form. And we finally got to the point where we realized there's no better time than the present, that we may as well jump into this thing now while we still can.
And just make something, right? Like we're not saying we're going to get rid of the 9-to-5. That's definitely not the point of it. But it's more or less like, can we do something creative on the side that we just have fun doing? I think that's mostly the big thing. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think we will. And like you said, we have been talking a lot about what could the central idea of that creative project be. And I think we came to the conclusion that why not have us figuring out that creative outlet? Why not have that be the basis of the content that we're going to create? So that's kind of what brings us here to what NTRLD is.
And that is why the slogan is the idea to an idea, because maybe this podcast will be a cool idea that we want to do, right? And we might interview people who have creative ventures and hear their stories. I think that would be an awesome thing to get to, right? Have like that collective environment. But at the same time, we might think of a great idea together while doing this, and then we'll just go from there. And maybe this podcast won't exist anymore. I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of the whole point of it. And I think it's gonna be a great time. But we're sitting here today, folks, and we thought that a podcast was just a great way to get started. And what's more fun than having a mic in your hand and no one can tell you to shut up? So that's why I'm here. I don't know if that's the reason you're here.
No, I think you said it perfectly, that we don't know if the podcast is the idea that we're going to take and we're going to grow for the long term, or if we're going to come up with something along the way. But I think for me, the way I look at it is like, we're two good friends. We always have a ball. We always have a laugh. May as well put a mic in our hands and just listen in on what our conversations are about. And at the end of the day, like, worst case scenario, if nobody listens to this podcast, who cares? Because we've been building something in the background for the past 4 to 6 weeks now. We've had this idea, we've been working on it, and we're kind of building skills that if they don't turn into something big in the interlude world, then at the very least, it's something that we can take to our 9-to-5s, or at least take into, adding something to our resume, that we've built these skill sets and we know what it's like to launch something from the ground up, to start a podcast, to get active on social media. We're improving ourselves in the meantime.
Right. And that's on some serious shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And he's not wrong. We're building the skills, but on some non-serious shit, we're gonna have some fun. All right.
Oh, no doubt.
That's the end of the day, all right. So that's what's up. So it's to me a win-win. You know what I mean? And that's the goal. So
I agree. We're
here. We got a pod rolling, but folks, I did a podcast when I was in school. I messed around. I had COVID. Well, I didn't have COVID actually. It was a scare that I might have COVID, so I had to be shunned to the hotels. If you remember that. Yeah, I remember. Times. Oh man. I was shunned to the hotel Crown Plaza, if anyone knows Syracuse too well. I think that's off Genesee Street, and otherwise known as SeaWorld, because I was stuck in that bitch like I was Shamu. So it was tough, man. That was a tough weekend. As you can imagine, I created a podcast. So usually you create podcasts when you're going through some shit. And so yeah, I'm going through something right now. And I was at that point in time too, but we're here. And we're grinding, folks.
I mean, for the select probably dozen people that might know the One Time Productions podcast that was produced during the COVID era.
Don't gas me up, bro. A dozen?
I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, but if we want to be realistic, we can call it 6 listeners. Had about a half a dozen.
Yeah.
But no matter what, I mean, it was hilarious. To your point, like, we were all going through something. We were trying to deal with how the hell do we be college kids and have fun when literally everything that we knew had kind of been taken away from us in that moment. So we were learning on the fly, just like kind of what we're doing here too. But at least this time we're going to try to have that central theme. We're going to try to take this a little bit further.
Well, that's a good point. I think it was funny because when I did that podcast, I just recorded centrally. It was obviously just me, and I did it on GarageBand. Now, you guys might be noticing right now, we're not in the same room. I currently live in Manhattan, and Todd's over in Connecticut. So we had to figure out a way to record this in a virtual format and things like that. And I think that was kind of the first start to this podcast build, right? And well, we found this platform, Riverside. I shouldn't say we. Todd found this platform, Riverside.
Yeah, no, to your point. I briefly mentioned earlier, we've been at this for 4, 6, it might even be close to 2 months at this point, that we've had this idea on the back end. We've had it on the back burner. We've been talking about it. We're going to get into the WD-40 section a little bit later about the challenges that we had in finally getting this thing up and running. But I mean, once we had this idea and we were kind of in agreement that this is what we wanted to do, we were like, all right, cool. What's next steps? First thing we did, try to come up with names. What do we do after that? Let's get social handles. What do we do after that? How the hell are we going to record this thing? So we went through some trials. We figured some stuff out along the way. Like I said, at the end of the day,
I'll tell you,
we're learning.
one thing I had no idea, like when we created a social channel, like what the passwords were going to be. Like we had to create something that we would both be able to get into. I don't know what you got cooking, bro. No one is going to crack into our account. Let me tell you that much. Todd made these passwords that he, like, oh my Lord. Dude, I don't even think the Pentagon's got a password like this. Dude. I have no idea what our passwords are. Like, I'm not going to lie to you guys. If you see some posts, like, it might not be me, like, but I don't know who it is. That it is impossible to get into our accounts. So respect to you, Todd, for keeping it on the lockdown. I hope we never lose that password ever it's saved down because no one's remembering it. I don't care who you are.
That.
Yeah.
No.
I'm worried that the Word doc is not even going to remember it. Like, I don't even think the keyboard's got the characters for these passwords, bro. It's ridiculous.
We'll be all right. No. We'll be all right. We were figuring all that stuff out on the back. Like I said, we had to set up, just like a company email address, if you want to call it that. Then we got the social channels figured out. We've determined that Riverside was going to be the best way for us to actually do our recordings. Start getting some social clips posted out. A little 1:26 p.m. We can get into that later if we want to as well, as to why our posts go out at the time that they do.
Correct.
At the end of the day, it was a lot of fun. I think we had some frustrating moments. I'll be the first to admit there were some things when recording was backfiring on different platforms. We tested out FaceTime, it didn't work. We tested out Zoom, we had a time restraint. We were even debating like going back to Skype or whatever the hell we were talking about. Like,
yeah, it was Skype.
We were.
What was it? Yeah.
I know I could speak for myself. I was getting frustrated with all of it. I was like, dude, this is just a side project. It shouldn't be causing this much frustration. But once we got Riverside on our side and got the mic set up, got the headphones figured out, we know how to connect everything now. I think we're in good shape to actually keep these recordings rolling on a regular basis.
I think you got to give yourself more credit here, folks. Let me paint a story. I mean, I called Todd, told him this idea about how I wanted to start a podcast, how we need the name, this and that. Let me look at. I got visuals. I was sleeping right here in this bed. Okay, he was over in New York. He was on this couch. I woke up in the morning. There were every account, every Gmail. This password was created that no one's gonna lock in. Like I mentioned, all of this is made in a matter of 2 hours. Okay, if you haven't figured it out, my boy's got the logic. My boy's got the detail. We're figuring it out. We're getting there. And it was sweet. And Riverside is kind of the industry leading platform for creating a podcast. It allows for pretty quick edits. I think that's, to me, the coolest thing that I've seen with this platform. I know it can only save down on one side, and a lot of these have been saving down on your side, Todd, but that editing platform is pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, it's a huge help. Shout out to Riverside and everything that they've created, the platform that they have.
This is not sponsored, but shout out Riverside.
No, it's not. But like genuinely, I don't think we would even have gotten as far as we have with our current audience count of about 3 people.
Yeah. Correct.
Which is our significant others and my mom, I think, are going to be the only listeners so far. So,
hey, add the turkey. Add the turkey. He don't know what's being said, but he'll be in there. That's my dog, by the way. Yeah.
I don't know if we get I don't know if we get the metrics on turkey.
No, we're gonna have we don't. But that's okay. He's part of the count, though.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. We always got the dog listening. He can only listen when he's on the streets, because when he goes into Hudson mode, he's with the kids. This ain't gonna be it for that situation.
Straight.
Yeah, no,
it's all good.
We love turkey. But shout out to Riverside. It's been a huge help in getting any of the social clips that we've already posted out there. For those of you who have seen them, as Nick alluded to in the beginning. If not, where are you going?
Well, I think we're just talking about social. I think it's cool in the sense of, obviously when you make a podcast, you need social clips, right? Like, this is going to go nowhere. Like, we're going to joke about how we have 0 fans, or the 2 fans we have are the ones blowing air on me right now. But the aspect of the fact that we have, you got to post on social to be able to garner attention, garner traction, right? And I think social media, the idea that I kind of had from the beginning was the podcast was going to be this polished form, and then social media would be like the behind the scenes of us calling, talking about ideas, things like that. That leads us, I think, into our first rendition of the WD-40 section, folks, which is what is grinding your gears and what needs WD-40. And for me, it's Apple FaceTime. Okay, yeah, put it in here first. Make a visualization. I don't care what it is, but tell the world, Apple FaceTime, WD-40 section. You need it. And here's why. If you have a call with somebody via FaceTime, you can do a screen recording. And it'll record your call, but it won't pick up your audio. So if you're annoying. Calling and you're talking to each other, you can't hear the audio of what I'm saying, which is kind of ridiculous. But it will record you speaking. So then I look mute. Well, I am mute. I don't look mute.
No, it's so ridiculous. It really is. I understand that Apple has their reasons for doing it, that it's some legal thing. But
what?
If every other video
it's a legal
platform,
reason?
Yeah, it's a legal thing. But every other platform, something like Zoom, something like Skype, something like Riverside, if you just have a little... Exactly, because you have a little thing that says, I consent to my audio being recorded, and then you're good. I don't get why Apple doesn't have the same thing. It is so annoying.
It's a consent thing?
Like, dude, what if I wanted to call you and wish you a happy birthday? What if I wanted to call you and wish you a happy birthday and then put that on social media afterward? Nobody would know what the hell we were saying.
Right. Then you can't save down a positive memory if you're if you're not there in the room. I guess you can record yourself in a video format, but what if you want to be there live and you want to remember that moment? I think it seems crazy to me, and I don't understand why. Like we both just assumed we'd be able to do that, and that would be like a cool behind the scenes kind of structure.
It felt like it made a whole hell of a lot of sense that you and I could just jump on a FaceTime call and record ourselves talking to each other and call that a podcast and turn those into social clips. And we tried. If Tim's listening to this episode, I think that would mean that we made it, if I'm being honest.
Hey, Tim Cook, if you're hearing this, man, thank the Lord. First and foremost, thank God. Secondly, hey, put some consent in your damn FaceTime audio, all right?
Just put it in this. You can bury it in the settings, hide it. We know Apple loves to do that, where some of the settings are the hardest things to find.
Hey, don't hate on him, man. We're trying to make it. We're trying to get the come up.
But if that's what it takes, if you just have to bury a setting somewhere real deep in the iPhone that says, I consent to my audio being recorded on FaceTime, please do it. Because so many people will benefit from that.
Yes. Preach.
At the end of the day, this is WD-40 because we're trying to make the world a better place. We are trying to loosen up where the friction is. And we are trying to make Apple a better company.
That's what I'm saying, folks. And that's what's up. So that's the WD-40 section. Hopefully you'll see that on social media, and that is our goal, right? Is to post the clips on social media. Thankfully, shout out to Riverside, that it'll allow us to do that anyways. So it might not be as behind the scenes, but maybe at some point in time we'll get there, and maybe you'll just see me sit on the couch and rant. That's
entirely possible.
If that's a good thing. I don't know if that's a good thing, but it might be fun.
It could be.
We'll see. We'll see.
Social media, I mean, this podcast, social media, and any idea that we come up with along the way, all of it is just an experiment, We're just out here.
Yeah.
We're friends, we're talking, we're coming up with things, we're having fun with it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, oh well,
Yeah.
We work in like creative marketing field anyway. That's what A/B testing is all about.
Yeah. I feel like the intro on drip too hard. Run it back, Turbo. That's what we are right there. Any idea, run it back. Doesn't matter, bro. No matter what it is, keep it rolling.
No, I mean we could take that.
That's what it is. But
we can take it and roll that into the different ideas that we had. Like I said, we're calling this the podcast segment, where who knows what we're going to talk about on this show. We've got plenty of ideas for it.
Yeah.
And maybe the audience can help us.
Well, I think we should admit we've tried to record one or two podcasts before this one, and they didn't go too well. And so I think we both realized that when you just watch podcasts that are more successful, they have some sort of segmentation or idea. I guess segments is the word that they come back to, that they talk about kind of each week and things like that. I don't think we need to have certain segments that are always prevalent, but at least something that's in rotation.
I think so.
The first one, we could chop it up, the WD-40 section. I think that's beautiful. What's grinding gears? Because if we can solve something that's grinding gears, then we got an idea on our hands.
I think that's the biggest way to look at this section. I think that's the most important kind of frame of reference for this section. Is it's not so much about what's grinding your gears, but it's how can we propose a solution to fix it, to make things better, not just for ourselves, but
Right.
like, if it's something that gets mass adoption, obviously that would be phenomenal state, because then multiple people get to benefit from our creative ideas on how we can fix and make things better. That's what we're hoping for, at least.
The interlude pod has caused mass adoption. You can read it in the papers right now, Todd. That's
a headline right
that's
there.
where it's leading.
It sounds
That's
like a
the-
headline that
I mean,
came
hey,
out of War
shit,
of the
if we
Worlds,
make
but that's
it-
a headline right there.
Yeah, it kind of does. That's okay. It's okay.
H.G. Wells would be
Hey,
proud with
we're
that
getting
one.
publicity, Matt. We're getting publicity. That's what matters. I think another segment that's just obviously going to be in there is ideas that we have. Like, we're going to try out different creative ideas. We have to talk about those, talk about our interests and things that we think we could actually create an idea off of. And then obviously if we start like actually making these happen, talk about kind of the progress and what that is. I think that would be fun. That's a good one, I think, right there. We gotta get a name for that one though. So I don't know what that would be.
Yeah, that could be something like, it depends on if we're doing it in unison with each other, then that's kind of like a what if section. What if we did this? What if we did that? What's possible?
Oh yes, no, I like this one. This was the possible popsicle section. You know what I'm saying? Because that phrase, like, anything's possible popsicle. But to me, it's like we could look at an idea and talk about it on a scale, right? Like the best possible thing is the dreamsicle scale, right? Like if it's a dreamsicle, bro, that's a beautiful dream and it can happen, man. It's one of the best ice creams out the truck. And then not that this is bad, but the worst would be like if it was softly served, right? Like you don't want that soft serve.
I'm gonna
You
have
don't
to
want that
interject.
drip.
I'm gonna have to interject on
now.
the soft serve for just a moment here. I'm gonna shout out the Lighthouse down the Jersey Shore, because you pull up and you get a cup and you get half soft serve and you get half Italian ice and you mix those together.
Okay.
Oh, it is game changer. So anyone who knows Monmouth County, New Jersey, head down to the Lighthouse. If you're from Monmouth County, you already know Lighthouse. If you're not and you're in the area, highly recommend. That is some of the best soft serve, and when you mix it with Italian ice, just trust me on this one. But back to the
Let the
possible
boy go
popsicle.
off. No,
Back to
tell
the
us what's good. Man, we need to get the Lighthouse on the podcast. Let them know.
I would love
Somebody
to
in
get them on
Monmouth
the
County
podcast.
who's listening to this, tell them that the Interlude Pod has requested their service. Because who on earth thought to take an Italian ice and put it on top of soft serve ice cream? That was a good idea.
It's a phenomenal idea.
That's what I was talking about. Those are the things I want to get churning. That's what it is. All right, that's
They
possible
had-
popsicle right there.
they
I don't know.
had
Maybe
a
it's a
good
bad,
idea.
bad name.
We're gonna keep workshopping the names.
Yeah.
We're gonna
This is a workshop.
Because the other thing with this section is, if we're trying to do some sort of a venture together, that's one idea. We also could kind of have our own personal pursuits. Something that you're really interested in, how can you make that a reality for yourself? Something I'm interested in, how can I make that a reality for me? We could take it kind of on a personal level too. And that's like, how do we turn like a deep dive into a day job or something like that?
Yeah, I mean that's a good one. I think that just talks about our own personal pursuits. I think just personally, I've been struggling in that regard of taking something that I'm interested in and pushing that an idea, and I think I need, and why I wanted to do this was to get the creative juices rolling. So that leads into another idea of where like we just look at different industries or different marketing campaigns that are existing and then just talk about like, what would we create? Right? Like, so you can take any industry.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a shirt, like a fashion industry. Like, what would we do in that realm? How would we change that? Audio industry, what would we do to change that? I think that one's fun to just get rolling on, and then we could kind of have like I don't know how we would do it. I don't think we'd be able to do that live on the podcast, so we probably have to build these ideas out ourselves. But then live on the podcast, if we gave the same prompt to a chat GBT, that would be kind of funny to see if we had a better idea than the bot. You know what I mean? Are you smarter than a bot? I like the "Are you smarter than a bot?" That's huge. I don't want to be a bot, folks.
No.
End of the day.
No NPCs. Definitely no NPCs. I think with that section though,
we should name this the NPC pod.
no, interlude has a meaning to it. We didn't even touch on what the interlude meaning is. We'll get there another time. But
we talked about that already.
I mean, it's on social. People can find it. But yeah, like, are you smarter than a bot? I think for the fact that you and I, we studied marketing. We work in like marketing and creative adjacent fields. I don't think AI is ever going to beat that human touch that we could come up with, but it would definitely be fun if we kind of take that away and workshop it. And like, all right, what do we think industry wide? How would we kind of create a marketing campaign, or even if we do pick a specific company, like you mentioned fashion, so we could take it could be a designer brand, or it could be something, kind of more affordable, something more like your day-to-day, like an H&M.
Like we could make a campaign out of that.
Be like CMO for a day, and what's a campaign that we would want them to run, and why do we think it would work? Here's kind of the SWOT analysis of it, and at the end of the day, you always know that we got to ask, well, Nick, what's the ROI?
Oh man, we're one pod in. We've already talked about a SWOT, and we've already talked about an ROI, bro. We killing it. We killing it. We really out here killing it. That's crazy. Yeah, no, I mean, I think, look, the best part about that segment to me is that there would just be almost like endless amounts of content. So,
absolutely.
If we didn't have something that week, we can obviously just go into that and make it happen. But that would be fun. I also, go for it. What's popping?
I was just gonna say, kind of on the flip side of that segment, the inverse of it is, what is a current marketing campaign? What's an existing marketing campaign? And we kind of do like a review of it. Like, why would that make someone stop their scrolling? What would make you look at that in your feed or on a commercial or on a billboard? Like, what are the successful campaigns that we're seeing, and why do we think that they're working? That could be present day. That could be like the Jake from State Farm, or that could be looking way back at like an Apple Think Different campaign of why did that do so well at the time? We can get into that
campaign
too.
Of all time.
However you want to look at it, like, we can either be creating stuff constantly, or we could be reviewing creative. I think we have enough knowledge to talk at length on that subject. And I think it would be a lot of fun.
You could almost review anything, which I think would be fun, and we could put together the review scale. I don't know what that would be, but rank some things, could put them up. Top five ad campaign. You know what I mean? So a little something for the people. We want to create takeaways. I think the biggest thing to me is you want to create takeaway content, one for social media, but also like, if you create like a top 5 scale, I know you like the graphic design. If we build a little graphic of like what that was, then you can post that on social and boom, right? Like, I think that's, to me, like, that's where my vision goes, is any of these segments, we almost want to have a takeaway from it. Like, what could that takeaway look like? That's huge. And we need like hard opinions, bro. We need to have some crazy ass takes, man.
I mean, that's the way the world is now. People got hot takes. People got, some divisive opinions out there. And that's how you get, it's provocative. It gets the people going, as they like to say.
Hey, don't quote that song. What was the name of that?
No, but that comes from Wolf of Wall Street, doesn't it? That comes from a movie.
Step Brothers.
That is Step Brothers. That's totally the wrong movie, but either way, don't ask me about pop culture. You know that's not my forte.
Well, that sounds like a great segment. Maybe we could just ask Todd about pop culture. I think what would be a great segment is if we asked Todd about like Love Island updates. Like we need to get some like reality TV show and have Todd give us an update on the people. Folks, I have no idea what the hell's going on in that either. I like realness. All that shit is way too fake for me. I can't get behind it. But if I could Google some things, and then I'll ask you like the relationship between like Deborah and Zayn, and then I want to hear your reaction to how Deborah and Zayn, when Zayn cheated on Deborah with Claire, I want to hear that.
I mean, I could tell you right out the gate that Zane is from Southern California, excuse me, and Deborah is from like Great Lakes, Montana, you know? So those two personalities were just never going to mash.
Damn, let them know. Let them know.
Like,
see, my question, stuff... I get this whole Love Island thing. I love how people love it. Me, and I know that they're from like all these other places. How did they get on the island? Like, did Delta sponsor the trip? Like who is paying for the travel? How did they get off work? Like, where, who has time to be like, hey, yo, man, listen, I'm just gonna take 2 months. Well, we don't live in Europe. We don't live in Colombia where they get like every other day off. Like, what the hell was that?
That's true.
I don't understand.
That's an interesting take. There definitely has to be some sort of sponsorship of the travel. You know, that if there's anything that you can sell, the media these days are going to sell it. They're going to sell that placement. So I'm sure that they've got some sort of sponsored airfare.
The trouble, but the time off.
About how do you get enough PTO to do something like this? Like, I like to think I have a pretty decent situation with the PTO that I get and whatnot. I could not afford to take multiple months off to go record a reality television show. That just would never work.
That's crazy. You have to quit. Like, so you would have, I mean, I know a lot of these big shows.
Unless you just go on like
they probably get sponsorship deals. Yeah, you would probably have to, right? Like a lot of these, they probably get the sponsorship deals. I get it if it's a big show. But there's a lot of reality TV shows, and these people aren't getting, I would assume, not making it like that. Well, yeah, like, do you just have that much confidence in yourself that you're just going to get your job back? Like, you either have to be, like, the best at your job and just know that you're going to get it back when you slide, or you have to be so mentally insane that you know you're going to get a brand deal out of it, right? Like you, I guess you just got to know that if I'm quitting my job, I'm going to be a crazy-ass motherfucker on these things, right? And just get, like, everyone to vibe with me. I don't know, like... It's an interesting debacle, in my opinion. I don't know how they do it, man.
Neither do I. Mean, now you were getting down into like the philosophical thing of do people have the right motives when they go on these types of shows too? Like we could take this down a huge rabbit hole.
Yeah.
We could go down a huge rabbit hole.
I would love to see your breakdown. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, that could be a whole other segment in of itself because you and I have like kind of. We're not diametrically opposed, but we have very different personalities in where you are very much just like kind of fly by the seat of your pants, have fun, live in the moment. And I'm a much more analytical, deep thinker. Like I'm constantly trying to make sure that the right word is the next one that comes out of my mouth. And it would be really funny for us to have our kind of gut reaction takes on things because I'm sure we would react to them so differently.
All right. Well, I'm writing this down right here, folks. This might be the first industry that we look into a creative idea. We both have to create our own reality TV show.
Okay. All right. I like where your head's at. That could be a lot of fun.
All right. You know what I'm saying? Like we got The Bachelor. Hey, this is a good story moment right here. So when I don't even know if you know this story. When I was in high school, I didn't know that there was a thing called The Bachelor. And when I learned that this man had like the choice between like 40 women or whatever the hell it was, I couldn't comprehend the concept of like what this show was and that people like found interest in this and that people actually got married out of it.
Obsessed with it. Yeah.
It's crazy. And so I decided that I was like, well, this is great. Why don't I just become The Bachelor then? So in high school, I used to... Moment. Dude, I did. In high school, we ran The Bachelor, and I would hand my water bottle as the rose to girls that week. I'd be like, do you accept this rose? But it was my water bottle. I'd get on a knee. Yeah. And then like my ended up being my girlfriend won the show. It was crazy. We had it all filmed. The best part, though, I'm from the Pacific Northwest, if y'all didn't know. I'm from Seattle, Washington. So we're on the progressive side of things. And so I realized that, and I said, look, The Bachelor, this is old news, man. Okay? No one on The Bachelor is gay. That's crazy. Why not? Why would there not be contestants of the same sex? And so we had two winners. We had my girlfriend won, and then we had my boy Fabio. He also won. So we had a joint competition win, and I think that was very representative. I think I was onto something there. That's what I'm saying. I really believe that. Right.
To your point, I'm also not very much plugged into the reality TV realm. I believe there was something that came out after the fact of one of the bachelors who was gay, despite having a female
Are you serious?
victor of the season of the show.
Oh, wow.
I don't know
That's
much
spicy.
about it, but that was a thing that happened. So
Was that the virgin? Remember there was one who was a virgin. He was like 35. You know what I'm
maybe
saying?
it was the same.
He
it
might have been
the
very
same
religious.
guy.
I don't know. But
I
that
have
would check
no-
out, right?
It could make sense. Yeah, I really don't know.
That could
But no,
be-
but
I kind of
but
like
I
this
like-
idea. We have to create a reality TV show.
I mean, your reality show, you already got a head start because yours might just be a version of The Bachelor where there are two winners.
No. You got to create something new, man. We got to create
Okay.
something new.
All right.
I mean, you could play off something that's worked, obviously, but I think we got to create something new. I think that would be a crazy take.
That could be a really fun segment. We got to, add that one to the list.
It's on there. It's on there, folks. Boom. There we
Very
go.
good.
Then I think transitioning pretty easily off of that. What I think is a good idea, what Todd thinks is a good idea, is what it is. But we know we have our 4 fans.
Mm-hmm.
The fan mail section. We want people chiming in. We want people with ideas. You can give us ideas of what to challenge us to do, but also talking about ideas that we have. We'd love to hear your opinion on things. And so it would be good to read off some of the things that people have to say and move on that way.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I guess you could start out by hitting us up in the DMs of interlude_media on all social media platforms. You know, we have open channels and we are happy to hear your thoughts. You got segment ideas for us. You got takes that you want us to respond to. I don't know if we're going to set up like some sort of a voicemail line. You think we could get recordings on here? Like actually have people calling in, asking us their questions?
You can call it. You can call me. Call me and leave a voicemail. Let me know. I won't pick up the phone, and then I'll just play your voicemail on here. I'll put it right up to my mic. No, that will go hard.
That would be really funny if we got some callers.
Or send it to our email. Don't we have an email? Todd, give us the email.
That's true. You can hit us at interludemedia@gmail.com. That's NTRLD media@gmail.com. You want to record yourself a little voice memo on the phone, or you can write us an email. It's true. We could just read it out ourselves, but you could send it to us. You could email us. DM us on Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want.
We could do that. Yeah, we could do it all.
I
have one request though.
Anything.
One request: if you do decide to DM us, please quote at least throw in one quote from the Yo Gotti and Nicki Minaj song. It go down in the DM. It go down. I need something. Like, you know what I mean? I need a little something.
Gotta make sure that they're true fans.
Yeah, we need true fans. So if you're really gonna make it go down in the DMs, you gotta lock in with us. So that's just one request. It's not an obligation, but definitely a request. I mean, I won't think like down on you, but it would definitely make me like slightly upset, like disappointed. You know,
understandably so.
Yeah,
well,
that's fine.
I mean, I think we've got a lot of good ideas here, and to not have you be down and upset, what if we transition a little bit and you talk a little about what inspires you today?
Yeah, folks, I think it's a huge thing that, you know, sometimes when we're closing out our episodes, just talking about inspiration, you know, a lot of times I think we can be in negative places, but it's always important to remind ourselves of what keeps us grounded, what keeps us moving, what keeps you humble. And for me, first and foremost, was the Bartolo Colon home run. Okay, what an amazing event to see that. I think truly Bartolo hitting that home run. If he didn't do that, we probably wouldn't be talking here today on the podcast. Maybe I'm wrong.
We really might not be, and Bartolo deserves all the credit in the world for this. But I think we also need to pay a little bit of respect to Mr. James Shields for his contributions.
Oh, thank you for mentioning so much. James Shields obviously was the pitcher. I think a lot of people hated on James Shields because Bartolo hit the home run off of him. I think he's my second favorite player in the whole world. He gave me the greatest moment, right? Like one of the greatest moments in my life. And now it was all because of James Shields.
Yeah,
obviously my favorite player. Bartolo Colon.
Sure,
But
number
James
40.
Shields,
All right. Deserves some love. I'm with you there. Bartolo was hitless on the season, and I think we all know what happened next.
he drives one.
Deep left field.
Deep left field. The impossible has happened. It's just beautiful, man. Beautiful.
What a good moment.
And the fact that happened on my mom's birthday and she hates baseball, even better, bro. Even better.
Shout out Mrs. D.
Dude, my mom will never understand. It's so tough to try to explain it every year. No, I'm actually really excited for your birthday. But you got to check out this home run, man. You just got to watch it just once.
Too good.
All right, well, that's inspiration number one. And I think inspiration number two, I think this really is kind of more of a meaningful, sentimental thing to me. But it's the moment when Big Chungus decided to throw out the Uno reverse card. Like that really changed the game. Okay, like there's never been a moment to me where, like, when I was seeing that video for the first time, I never believed in the fact that Big Chungus was going to hit Thanos with the Uno reverse card. That's the best play in the game, dude. When you're playing Uno, and I don't even care about the drop 4, whatever that is. You got to pick up 4. You hit them with the slam 2. I don't even care about the final play. When you drop if you can put a little reverse in and you just go, oh, right back to you. Like that is the move, man. Uno reverse, bro. Shout out Big Chungus.
Dude, what we used to do with Big Chungus in college was just...
Yeah.
I mean,
that was problematic.
I think that's another segment that we're going to get to at some point, is just some of our college stories, whether they're one-time production stories or whether just what we used to do in the classroom, because Big Chungus was a big part of our marketing classes. We can leave it at that.
Todd was a studious man. He always made me sit in the front of the room. I have never been tested for ADD. Let's just say, maybe. Maybe.
It might have nicked you a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's my name.
Exactly.
I had a whole monitor of Big Chungus. And I would just no, it wasn't a monitor. It was like another desktop page.
Yeah,
you know how you could just slide to another desktop.
Yeah.
Right. I would purposely ask a question in class that I knew the answer to, just so that when I raised my hand, I would start asking the question, swipe to the Big Chungus page with Todd sitting next to me, show him the Big Chunky, ask the question while I'm doing that, get the answer, and be like, oh, thank you, man, and then swipe back. And I was ruthless, bro. I honestly apologize. It was kind of crazy.
The thing is, it wasn't just me. You have to realize that we had all the rows behind us, too. We're looking at your screen and could see it. We had half of the classroom trying to hold in their laughter. And we had, Syracuse University, great institution in a lot of ways. But some of the marketing professors, they were so confused because we had half the classroom just cackling, trying to hold in the fact that they just saw Big Chungus down in the front row.
Hey.
Meanwhile, these professors innocently just trying to answer a question. Oh man, we had some good times.
Just inspiring a generation every chance I got, man. Trying to make a day better for somebody else. So I don't know.
That's
what
it comes down to. I think that's what
it
comes down to. That's what this show is all about. We're trying to build a community here. Not only are we doing this for ourselves, hopefully we can inspire others along the way for them to pursue their passions, pursue their interests, find something that gives them fulfillment. I think we're onto something great here, and I'm glad that we finally got this podcast up and running.
See, folks, I don't need to necessarily spin it back, but I'm trying to find the Big Chungus Uno reverse card. What's that play? I'm just trying to walk into life and just slide that card in that you're just all confident in. That's the goal. So shout out Big Chungus. But this is episode 1. I think we finally did it. I appreciate everybody. So without further ado, folks, that is a wrap. You can put it on wax. Thank you for tuning into the Interlude Pod. We hope you enjoyed listening to this episode half as much as we enjoyed making it for you.
Because we had a ball. and only real ideas are going to last. All that other bullshit, it's here today and gone tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Without further ado, we'll see you next time. I'm Nicky D. He's Mr. T. Good night, Connecticut.
Good night, New York.